There's a funny story. You know, I didn't have an apartment here, and it was in the middle of the summer, and I was trying to get in as much training as I can and trying to coach while still having enough money to travel, and it just wasn't gonna work. So what I would do is I would coach class, and then at the end of the night, I'd just stay in the academy, and it'd be like 90 degrees in there. I was afraid to turn on the air conditioning because I thought somebody would find out that I was staying in there. You know, I thought the owner of the gym was gonna find out. I would walk into the back where the locker room was and sleep on the carpet. So what I would do is wet all my clothes in the sink and sleep in wet clothes so that I was cold enough to, you know, to be able to fall asleep in the gym. They used to ask me, oh, dude, were you like asleep here, whatever? Because I'd already be inside the gym. I was like, no. And I would lie to everybody, you know.
I started back in 2008 when a young man tried to kiss me while I was playing. Oh, that's a fucking wrong story. I first met him when I was trekking in the Andes and we were hunting wild amphibians. And I met him on that trip. And I remember because he's actually a bit of a life guru. He's a strength and conditioning coach, he's a motivator, personal trainer, he's a master in yoga and Pilates, and his main thing is, he creates strategies for people, game plans. So he's a little unorthodox, as you'll probably see, and weird in ways, but don't let that fool you, he's the best in the field of what he does. We're just here at the academy, super early in the morning, it's about 11:30. And we're meeting with my strategist coach. He had a distinct aura about him, you know, like a real arsehole sort of aura, but not, if that makes sense. You know, through the arsehole there was someone that just had something to share, and I just felt that then. Just spent a lot of time thinking about the match, and that's
He casts no such boast.
Oh, I mean, we're just doing some film work with the Metamoris crew, and yeah, I think we want to get a little bit of you on camera.
Yeah, sure, no problems.
It's not that bit, if you know what I mean.
The old cameras.
Can we cut this?
Me, I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, I head over, you know, at like about 6:30, either by train or by car, all the way up to Manhattan. It takes me about an hour and a half to get there. You know, I get into Henzo's, train in the 8 a.m. class.
What's unique about Garry Tonon is that he will often go outside of my teachings and improvise in ways that shock even me as I watch him roll. He learns at a relentless pace. And when he combines that with the skills of improvisation, he's a very, very dangerous opponent.
Wrestling has given Garry Tonon an absolute animalistic sense of offense. It's truly brutal the way he gets on people now. He's absolutely violent, and it's phenomenal.
Submission only is what my style is all about. Working my way out of bad positions and eventually capitalizing and getting the submission that I want.
Alright, so we're here at Immersion Mixed Martial Arts. I'm going to be training with my friends Lachlan Giles and Dave Marinakis, two top-level black belts in Australia, my two best training partners. A really good example of my style would be like the actual game of human chess. I don't like to go out there and enforce my will on people. You know, competition sometimes is different. Sometimes you're going to have to go really hard. But like, I really enjoyed the strategy of Jiu-jitsu. I really enjoy the back and forth. I like to get to a position, let him react, try and predict his reactions, counter that, and move back and forth. I look at Jiu-jitsu as like an expression, and you're both trying to articulate what's happening in your mind together. And if you do that both at the same time, your rolls end up being really nice. I like to be really well-rounded. I like to work on my wrestling. I like to work on my judo, my passing, my sweeps, my submissions. You know, my goal is to become ultimately as well-rounded as I can, at a high level as I can, feeling comfortable in any area. So my jiu-jitsu is basically revolves around reactions. For me, like, my goal is to never feel uncomfortable in a match, always have an answer, and to be able to come up with my own answer, a different answer. For every problem, have a different solution. I really dislike drilling.
We're at Five Guys Burgers and Fries right now, one of the premier burger locations in New York City and anywhere across America. Oh, you gotta go bacon cheeseburger, you know, go for, if you're gonna go for broke, you know?
I don't think Garry really has nutrition.
I personally believe that, you know, strength and conditioning, nutrition, all those things are very, very secondary. Your training is what's most important, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The time you spend on the mats, you know, working on your technique, that's what matters. If that's gonna be the deciding factor in me winning a match, what I ate the weekend beforehand, or the day beforehand, or whatever the case may be, I clearly am not good enough at jiu-jitsu. I could eat healthier if I cook for myself, but I don't have time to cook for myself. I get home at 12 o'clock every night, you know, and then I gotta do paperwork for the school, you know, so.
It's not like a magic protein shake to make me better at jiu-jitsu. If I suck, it's not the burger.
Exactly. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
all you.
Just finished hard training, so gonna get my big burger with no buns. Keeping it fun. Mr. Burger is it's a burger shop on Chapel Street here. It's one of the top 10 burgers in Melbourne, and they do some really amazing stuff. But no buns, because I don't like having any carbs at all during the day. You know, I like high fats, high protein. It's good, as long as it gets through my blood.
The first day he came through the door, like, listen, whatever you want in jiu-jitsu, you could do if you dedicate yourself to it, you know? And he listened. From the moment he walks in, you know, he's serious. Like, his warm-up is serious, his instruction is serious, his training is serious. He's just a very intense guy when it comes to his training. You can't see a Garry Tonon match that isn't exciting. Everybody wants to step it up and train as hard as he's training. It's very hard to match his intensity.
When I'm competing, if something's not happening, I'm gonna do something to shake things up. Whether it's flipping over my partner, whether it's, you know, spinning around, you know, just things that, you know, conventional jiu-jitsu practitioners would say, oh, that's the wrong thing to do. You know, you're on top. Why would you roll on bottom? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? And it's to constantly create a sense of, you know, different positions and different movements that my partner's not ready for. You know, that's the best way I feel to dominate somebody, is to constantly keep them guessing. Competition makes me better. Competition makes me, every day, it forces me to get a little bit better. Because if you're not getting better, you're gonna lose. You have to be constantly on top of what you're doing. It gives me the motivation to stay in shape. It gives me the motivation to wake up in the morning and work towards my goals. To wanna constantly do a little bit better than I did the day before. That I'm doing it the best that I possibly can. To make sure that one day, like, you know, when I spread the word of jiu-jitsu, I want to make sure, you know, I'm at the highest level in what I do. When you face an opponent, you're not just facing their technique, their knowledge, their know-how. You're also facing their attributes. You know, is this guy going to be 10 times stronger than me? Is this guy going to be twice as fast? You know, who knows? Any format that's submission only and has at least, you know, a 20-minute time limit really plays to my skill set.
Maybe he's gonna shoot, maybe he's gonna pull guard, maybe he's gonna, flying scissor you, flying triangle, do a cartwheel. Literally everything I just said, he's done. It looks like he's risky, but he's very calculated. He knows everything he's about to do. And sometimes I watch his matches and I grab my head and I shake my head and I say, what the hell am I watching right here? But nonetheless, I'm entertained.
We've been taught since we were kids, never go on your back. If you fall on your back, you have to recover quickly. He doesn't let you come in very closely. His knees, arms are like a stone. Very hard to pass.
We call it sheriff time, so basically it's when he submits you or when he gets sick of submitting you. If he gets angry, then the roll will go for a while.
In Australia, we don't have world-class athletes to train with. We don't have world-class coaches. We pretty much have to put it all together ourselves. I'm very unpredictable. I like to do what they don't expect. I'm very comfortable in scrambles.
I'm telling everyone, don't blink, because something's going to go, something's going to happen.
They're pushing the pace, they're making me work really hard, and this is the best preparation I could ask for in Australia. I think it's going to be really exciting. It's got all the elements to make a really exciting fight.
I think people underestimate him a little bit. I think they think, oh, he hasn't competed as much internationally.
I'm sure my opponents underestimate me. We've never had anyone at the top level come out of Australia yet.
He's definitely a threat. He's 100% a threat.
Got that Jersey heart. He reminds me of Frankie a little bit.
He's always adapting, super tough.
You're going to see two guys leaving it all out there, trying to put on one hell of a show.
We're both gonna lose if nobody gets submitted.
Win or lose or draw, it's going to be an awesome fight.
You have no idea what you guys are about to watch.